everybody. Welcome to our Crafty Hour number 24. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are going to get started in just a moment. I am just going to kind of load up all of my goodies. I am not as organized as I had hoped. So, good morning. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 24. That is going to be using our Garden Party Deluxe Craft Pad. This is a Hunkydory item, and it is a really cool one. What they usually do is if one of their items was really popular, like this came out maybe a year and a bit ago. If it was popular, they put together what they call a deluxe craft pad. And what that did is it was one of everything, including the inserts. So you got a lot of goodies in here. And then we added some more. We added some of our enamel dots. We put in 4 different colors. And the colors, I mean, look how beautiful that is. The colors will match your stuff in here, so you can utilize those. And it's just a really fun project. So we are going to make cards today. I'm not sure how many Courtney came up with, but I do have 4 cards. And we're going to hopefully get through all 4 cards. We'll see how our timing goes. I've got all my adhesives. Oh, I should get my trimmer because we definitely are going to need our trimmer. So let me bring that in. And glue, we're going to need glue, thankfully. We have our quick dry back in stock. And I'm going to be using the inverted corner punch. I'm going to use it on 2 cards. That is always optional. If you don't have it, it's not a problem. If you don't have it, you should have it. It is a fantastic punch, especially if you enjoy the Hunkydory ones, because they always have die cuts that do have little notches out of it. So I like to kind of mimic that on my card, and I think it just looks really pretty with it. Now, what I'm not going to talk about in great detail today is the inserts. So I'm going to bring these forward just so I can show you what inserts are, just in case you don't know what they are. Inserts are what I like to call a faded paper. So it will mimic the pattern paper, but it is just a very faded portion of it. So for instance, on our first card, I'm just going to get my goodies here and get all this mess out of the way today. Gosh, I seem to have a lot of goodies. So, as you can see, this one will kind of mimic this pattern paper. It's just in a softer tone. So there's different ways that you can add it into your card. Some people like to, if the card opens this way, some people will just take it, they'll score it gently and just tape on the ends. And what that will do is allow it to kind of bow like that so that it's not too hindrance. I personally like to cut them. So I cut them a little bit smaller, and then I can also change the order. Yes, Evelyn, there is kits. You can give the store a call. They're going to open up in a minute, and they can definitely get you a kit. So that is how I do it. It's not right or wrong, but this will give me an option that I can also, when I have a top folding card, I can do one here and I can do one at the top. I also leave a little bit of border. That is just something I like to do. You don't have to do that. So I'm not actually going to use these and show you them in class. That is something that you can do. But as you can see here, I just added this one into this card. So I just kind of find the match and go from there. So that will be something that you can do on your own. Also remember that these can be used as pattern papers on your card. This would look lovely as a background paper as well. So you don't have to use them as inserts, but that is what those are. We find that the inserts are very, very popular in the UK. So it is really nice to have just a little decorative touch inside your card. So I am going to get started. Now, as always, remember that you can rewatch this at any time. I know a lot of you like to just sit back and have your coffee in the morning and watch this, and then maybe you'll come back and do it on your own time when you don't feel quite so rushed. Not a problem. I am going to go at a fairly good speed today. I'm going to aim for getting through 4 cards, but if I don't get through 4, then that 4th one, I will post the images and you can watch them. I did keep these fairly simple. I think Hunkydory does a lot of the work for us. And of course, I'm going to be using my foam tape and my foam strips. Those are always optional for you if you want. So going to the homework that I posted, card 1, let me get out my card 1. I had said we needed a card that measured 5 1/4 square when it was folded. So that is 5 1/4, and a gold foil. Now, you can also use pink foil with this, turquoise foil with this, yellow foil with this. I'm going to start with this card. So you don't have to do the gold. I did choose to keep it simple today, but you can, of course, change it up with all of the foils that you have. So that is what we're going to use for this card. The gold is slightly smaller. If I hold it up, I can see that it is slightly smaller. Now, if you are going to be punching your paper, now is when we do it. If you are not punching your paper, just go ahead and glue that on straight. We don't need to do anything else. I am going to punch with my corner punch, making sure I get right in the corner so it takes that bite out. And I'm going to do my card portion first. I am going to take a moment and clear this just because I do not want my punch to get backed up. That is a surefire way to break it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my gold foil. So again, all 4 corners so it is matchy-matchy. Okay. And I always just do one more check, make sure I'm happy with it. This is a square card, so you can have this card open however you want, side to side or a top folding. I'm going to do mine as a top folding, but again, that's just a preference. It is not a necessity. I like the way they stand. I find they stand a little bit better, especially when it is a heavier card. Okay, now before I started, I did go with my bone folder and do that score. Just make sure you do that. Also helps your card stand up nice and clear. Oh, I'm so happy to have my glue back. All right, so that first step is done. All we've done is glued that on. I'm going to set it off to the side, and then I'm going to find that pink paper. It'll be in your paper pad, and it has butterflies top, butterflies bottom. It is a beautiful, beautiful watercolor. I've got a little bit of glue on mine. I think I'm just going to take my trimmer and just trim off that little bit of glue, just so that it's not on there. All right. So we're going to take this beautiful paper, and I need to cut it at 5 inches. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to put it into my trimmer, and I'm going to cut at 5 inches. And this is, their pattern paper is what is called Adorable scoreable. So it is nice and thick. You can make the card out of this. We could score this and make the card out of it. If you are ever in one of my Hunkydory classes, you know I do that often. For now, I'm going to put this off to the side. I am going to use this on my next card. So I'm going to just put it off to the side. And then I need a square. So I'm going to take it down to 5 inches. And I'm going to cut off the top. So if you have a look at your paper, you can see that there are butterflies. I'm taking the bottom of the paper to 5, and I am going to keep this piece too for my next card. I am going to use it for my next card. So now I have this piece that measures 5 by 5. Again, before I do anything, I'm just going to hold it up, make sure I'm happy with my borders. And then one more time, I am going to punch all 4 corners. If you are not punching your corners, feel free to go ahead and glue it onto the card. Okay, clean this out. It's kind of one of those things I got to remember so I don't break it. So this is where you decide which way you want your card to open. Do you want it side to side or top to bottom, whichever way? Before you glue, make that decision. Your pattern with the butterflies will be on the bottom of your card. Okay, that way we're not going to see a lot of it, but if we do happen to see something like a butterfly, he's not standing on his head. So I'm just going to attach that, slide it right into place. Oh, it's such beautiful paper. And we've got that done. Now, really, that's it for our cutting. The rest, we're just going to bring in our die cuts. So for that one, we're going to use the matching die cut that is called Fluttering Wishes. So up in the top right corner, you're going to see the names, Fluttering Wishes. This is what it looks like. I'm going to move that off to the side. Fluttering Wishes. And I'm going to start with this very large one down here. So I'm just going to pop this out. And then I'm going to separate. So I don't use scissors with this. I just kind of poke it. Every once in a while there might be one that sticks a little bit more than it should. So then I'll just get my scissors in there, but otherwise it's fine. I'm not going to use this middle piece. Now, there's lots of things that you can do with this. I've shown you in classes in the past. I am just going to put it off to the side, not going to use it. I'm going to start with these first 2. Okay. And like I said, this card's nice and easy. I am going to foam tape it right to the center. So even space top to bottom, even space side to side. Now, if you don't want to foam tape, that's okay. For this, I recommend the foam strips. Couldn't recommend these enough. They are a necessity. A little tip, if you don't know, I'm sure you have figured this out, take that backing off first, okay? Because what that does is it lets you go around corners, okay? Much, much easier. Now, you don't need to cover every little inch of this, but having said that, don't leave a big gap, because if you do, you're going to get a little bit of dipsy doodle there. It's not going to be solid. You're going to see that it's going to be kind of like a bumpy little speed bump if you do. So I only ever leave maybe like 1/2 inch maximum. Okay. And using these just saves me having to cut my foam tape, which is important. Okay, when I have a little piece there, I just kind of tear it. As long as you take that backing off, super easy. I'll save that little piece for later, and there you go. Now, there is not, on this particular one, a right or a wrong. It doesn't matter which way it goes, up or down. Sometimes you will see a difference with Hunkydory, but not with this one. Oh, isn't that beautiful? These are also fantastic for shakers. I was doing that before shakers were super popular because to me it just made it really easy to put a piece of acetate behind there. They've made the frame for me. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to foam tape it into place. So again, now I'm just going to go to my regular foam tape. This is made by the same company. It's the same height. And I'm only going to put one high on here. Don't have to, again, cover the entire thing. And we're just going to plunk this right in the middle. Just like so. Okay. Now, that looks great, I think. But I wanted to change this up. And this is optional because some of you might think I'm wasting, but honestly, I have a lot of Hunkydory stuff, and so I don't feel it's a waste. What I really wanted to use was the butterfly. So at the top of that die cut sheet is the butterfly, and that personally I really liked. You might love this. I love the coloring, but I really wanted the butterfly, and I wanted lots of layers. So I am going to foam tape it over top. And what that's going to do is just give me so much more dimension. Look at that card and how much dimension it is with all of those layers. But really, I didn't do a lot. It was the paper that did it. So for me, that's what I'm going to do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I am going to foam tape it one more time. And I am going to put it right in the middle. Covering up that, I know, but it's okay. It's okay to sacrifice things if you are happy with it. Okay, so I like that. I really like that dimension. I love that it's almost got like a little tunnel effect to it. Now I'm going to do the birthday for this one. So I'm going to take my little birthday, and let's see, did I do a pop dot? I did. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my pop dots. I'm going to put one right on the corner there, and I'm going to show you a little trick. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to have this right down in the corner here. Now, the butterfly level is one higher, right? Because we put foam tape on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape right here on the corner so that now they're the same level. And then I'm going to put my pop dot on top of that. So it's just kind of math. I had to figure out, okay, well, this is one foam tape shorter. And then we're just going to take our greeting, it's your birthday, and do that. Now, when I was at home making these, I did not have my enamel dots with me. So we're going to add some enamel dots. And again, lots of different ways you can add them. I'm going to use, I think, gosh, both pinks will look really pretty on here. I don't know. Maybe I'll go light pink. And I'm going to go with the medium light pink. And I think I'm going to maybe put them there. Maybe. There's so many places you can put your enamel dots. You can spatter them. I think I'm going to add that. And I am going to take, I want to see, maybe I'll take some of my light or my darker ones. Let's see what that looks like. I have lots of cards or lots of enamel dots to play with. So I could add some and make my butterfly just pop out a little bit more by adding some in there. Now I could also have put some enamel dots in the corner. I could always go back and maybe put some of those in there if I choose to. Sometimes I spatter them. Sometimes I put them somewhere with purpose. All right, so card one, nice and easy. That one is done. All right, beautiful. You know what? I couldn't figure out why this isn't sticking. I think I didn't take my backing off. Isn't that silly? Okay, let's push that down a little bit better. All right, card number 1 is done. We're going to move on to card number 2. Okay, now card number 2, we are going to do a little bit more, as you can see. There's a lot more. Okay, we are not going to do the fussy cutting. That is going to be something that you can do for homework. But that is what I did on here. I added a little bit of butterflies. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to take a 5x7 card and we're going to make it top folding. Gosh, I hope I have my, just realized that my, I usually have the store's score blade and I don't see, that's not good. Stace, have you seen the store's scoreboard? It's usually right here and I don't see it, the black score blade. Well, this could be a bit more of a challenge. I didn't bring mine because the store usually has one sitting right here. All right. So we're going to take a top folding scorecard. Well, no, I don't want to open one. We'll just figure it out. We'll figure it out. So we cannot, in North America, easily make a top folding 5x7 card because what we would need is 14 inches, right, in order to cut it. And Mary, I do believe that both stores still have some Hunkydory kits. So if you want to get one, please reach out to us. We would love to get you one. So I'm going to show you a different way to do this. I have my normal 5x7 card base. Okay, that is what we do, usually a side one. And there's going to be a few things I'm going to do. First of all, I want it to be a little bit shorter. So as you can see, my card is a little bit shorter. So I am going to trim off about 3/4 of an inch. I want us to trim the height of the card to 6 1/4. So I'm just going to put this in here and I'm just going to guesstimate here on my trimmer. I could also just take this down to 3/4 of an inch. Maybe I'll do that. And I am going to trim off so that my card now measures 6 1/4 tall. Okay, just shrunk it. I'll just toss this. I don't need this little piece of white, so we'll just get rid of that. And then, does it have the score thing in there? Yeah. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into 2 pieces. So everything I have ever told you, I wish I knew where it went, of what not to do, you're going to do it this time. We're going to take the score side and we're going to just smidge it off by ever so slightly. Okay, I don't want to take a lot of the width away, just a little bit. So that's how much. And that is the fold. So now guess what? We have 2 pieces of white paper. So if you didn't want to use a card base, I like to do this with the card base. But if you don't want to use a card base, you just could cut 2 pieces of white paper. I find card bases are actually cheaper than just using 2 pieces of white. So now I have 2 pieces that measure approximately 5 inches by 6 1/4. So we just cut off the score line. I know back years ago, people would do this by accident. Now we are doing it on purpose. Now, normally I would use my scoring with my score tool, but I cannot. Oh, you know what? We could do this. We'll just do this. We are going to take 1 piece of paper, only one of them, and we're going to score it 1 inch from the top. So I'm going to take it to 1 inch. You can use your scoreboard, your score blade, and let's see if this is going to work. No, it's not. It's too fat for the opening on that one. We'll go old school here. I usually use that, but we'll, I don't like this as much. We're just going to Make a score line 1 inch from the top. Okay, it's been a while since I've used that. 1 inch, I'm just going to fold it and then straighten it back up. Now we're going to reconstruct our card. So we are going to put this back together so that the score line is at the back. So I personally like to use double-sided tape for this because, of course, we are creating a hinge and it's going to get use. So it's best to have super strong. So I am going to add some score tape. I'm just going to use 2 pieces, one right above the score line and one right below. Now, you could do this score line at 3/4 of an inch if you want. I find an inch is just a good measurement to do that, but it's whichever works for you. So I'm just going to add a couple little pieces of tape. Now, this is going to be the back side because I don't want the fold showing on the front. Not today. Doesn't mean you can't. And then very carefully, we're going to put our card back together. So I find that I usually start at the bottom. I don't know why, I just do. Line it up and then just seal it. Okay. And then that is going to create a top folding 5x7 card. Top folding 5x7. Okay, is everybody okay with that? That's the hard work done. Now we're just going to cut some paper. Okay, so I'm just going to go back through the instructions just to make sure we're all clear. We trimmed the height first to 6 1/4. We cut off the score line. We scored at 1 inch from the top, and then we taped the 2 pieces back together. Nice and easy, right? Okay, now we're going to go to this paper. This is our leftover from our first card I made with you. And we're going to take it to 5 inches. And we're going to cut. Okay. Now, yours may vary slightly because remember I said that we want to cut off as little as possible. Depending what trimmer you were using, you might have had to take a little bit more. So if it doesn't come to this, okay, if it's too wide, you can always smidge it. Do we sell envelopes for all different sizes of cards? Josie, we do actually better than that. We have tools that will make your own envelopes because I do not fit inside a box. Not at all. There might not ever be an envelope that's 5 by 6 1/4. I am totally comfortable putting that into a 5x7. But I do tend to make my own. And if you tune in tomorrow, I have a new trimmer that has an envelope board attached to it. There's a little secret. Okay, so now we have this. And as you can see, mine is okay. If you need to trim a little bit more off, I'm okay with it. But my card has pattern on top and bottom. So here's what we're going to do. The finished size is approximately 5x7, Evelyn. Yes, that's correct. We took a 5x7 card. No, let me remember this first step we did. The first thing I showed you was to cut the top of the card to 6 1/4. Okay, so you might need to go back and do that. Watch it again, step by step. That was the first thing. Then we cut it into 2 pieces. So now my card is 5. Yes, we cut the card. And when you rewatch it with your kit, you'll understand. 5 by 6 1/4. Okay, so now I'm going to cut 2 pieces, one from the top and one from the bottom, that is 3 inches tall. Okay, ready? So I'm going to take it there. 3 inches. I'm going to turn around and take it to 3 inches. So now we don't need this, okay? I have a top and a bottom, and I have to punch. I will do that in a sec. I have a top and a bottom that now will work. Okay, before I go back, I chose to punch, so I'm going to punch again. Sorry, don't want to skip that step. Okay, punched. So making sure that you're paying attention to the pattern. One is going to glue on the bottom and one is going to glue on the top. If I hold my paper like this, I know punch, punch, and punch, punch. Okay, so hold it up and you'll see, oh yeah, I got a punch. So punch and punch. You're basically punching that pattern. Perfect. And punch and punch. And that's it for my punch. So now I'm going to glue those into place. Okay, again, measurements are there. Don't panic. I'm going to keep moving, but you can always rewatch this. We only have an hour together. When we do classes, we obviously take way more time to make sure everybody is keeping up. But Crafty Hour, that is not our goal all the time. Okay, so our card, 5 inches wide, approximately 6 1/4 tall. Okay, and I know there's a hole in the middle. I'm totally aware of that. So don't anybody panic. I'm really glad that people haven't been like, I have a hole in the middle. Dear Liza, I know. Okay. Those that know me know I would never leave that. Never, never. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to this piece we cut off on the first card. Remember I said don't lose it. And we're going to cut a strip of that pattern paper. And I want the strip to be about 3/4 of an inch. So bringing this here, cut pattern strip, 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to do it this way. Just going to hold it up, make sure it's the right width, and that's perfect. So 3/4. This was from card number 1. Remember, we cut it off. Now, I also told you to find a little piece of gold in your instructions for your homework. I said a 1 by 5 inch piece of gold. So that is this. Mine's a little bit wider than 1. I'm going to trim it. And what we're going to do is mat this so I have gold on the top and gold on the bottom. This was just a scrap of mine, so I'm actually going to trim it first. And if you don't want a lot of gold showing, you can trim it down. Make sure it's 5 inches. I just grabbed a piece of scrap on there. I like to have mine with just a little gold showing. So if you want, you can trim that. This is also a fun little tip and technique, not just if you want that pattern on top and bottom, but also if you just have little scraps left over, then you definitely could utilize this. Okay, so no gold on the ends, just gold on the top and bottom, and I'm going to glue it right across the middle of the card and cover up that gap. So now the paper looks like it should have been, oh, you know what? I'm going to trim my gold a little bit. Looks like it should have been that length the whole time. And all that did is it now let me have pattern on the top and bottom, which is what I really wanted. Now I'm happy with that. Okay. And that is really the hard part of the class done for this one. Hard part of the card. Yep, that works. And I am going to go to that same die cut sheet. And I am going to remove the image up at the top. And just like I did with the first card, I'm going to separate them. So we'll just separate all of these. I'm not going to use the gold in the middle, so you can save that for another project. And I'm going to foam tape, just like we did with the first card, this big frame right in the center. If you want to do it flat, of course you can. I use quick dry on everything. It's my favorite. Now I'm in the hoarding phase. I'm hoarding quick dry because I don't want to run out again. So important. Okay, so a little bit down there. And again, you can see I'm taking off the backing as I go. Just makes it so much easier to get around those little corners. Perfect. Again, no right or wrong way to this one. So I'm just going to plunk it in. Now for the inner, oftentimes I like it to be a different height than my frame. So sometimes I'll glue it flat. That gives it a different height. And sometimes I'll do double foam tape. Usually one or the other, unless I'm doing multiple layers like we did with our first card, right? Then we did multiple layers, so it still is a different height. With this one, I'm going to choose to do double, but of course, you can do flat. Throw some quick dry on it and put it on there. I'm going to do double, and again, I don't have to put it over the whole piece. And for double, I never cut two pieces of foam tape. I just fold it onto itself. That's more than enough. And we're going to put that into the middle. Now from the same die cut sheet, I'm going to do the especially for you down here on the bottom. And we're going to pop dot that. Come on. And I like to just put the pop dot where I want my greeting. And the reason I chose this corner is because it kind of balanced with that big flower there. And then I have a nice big bright pink here. So that's why I chose that. There's lots of places you could put it. Now I do want to talk a little bit about the fussy cutting of flowers, which is, or sorry, butterflies, which is totally up to you. As you can see, mine got a little squashed when I brought them to work, but I did do a few butterflies on some pop dots. Now, where I grabbed that from was these scraps. So I just cut out, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. That's just on my scrap paper. And I just cut them and pop dotted them around the area. Now with this one, I could add some dots if I so choose. Let's see, maybe we'll just do, I'm going to be putting some flowers there, so maybe I'll just do that. Spattering. Maybe I'll just put 3 up in the corner. Gosh, I love these dots. And if I want to add 3 down there, I totally could, but I'm going to put a butterfly there, so I might just leave it. So I just did kind of a little spattering of dots on there. Okay, my homework will be to go ahead and do my fussy cutting. I'll do that later. And then like I mentioned on here, if you want to add in your paper inside, you're just going to cut it first, punch those 2 corners, and then you can have a pretty matching inside from those. All right, so that card is done. We took a 5x7 and we totally deconstructed it and then put it back together so we have a top folding. All right, that one is done. Okay, let's see if we can get through the next 2. I'm going to change color schemes now. I'm going to go to the purples. Okay, so let's go into here. Now for your homework, you needed to get a 6x6 card base. So I have a 6x6 card base. That is half of a 12x12 sheet. 6x6 card base. I needed a 5 7/8 by 5 7/8 gold foil. This time I chose to use, I used the 12x12 Hunkydory foil, and I just cut it in half. I'm just going to make sure it fits on there. Tiny little border. And then I asked for a 5x5 piece of vellum. So I do have all my bits and pieces for that. Okay, I did not, I did not do any corner punching on this one. So I'm just going to take my glue and let's glue our gold on. You could punch it, of course. Upcoming crafty hours. Let's talk about that while I'm gluing. We have a spectacular one tomorrow. Very excited. We'll be launching it at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, we've got the Halloween one. Courtney, Joe, and Diane is going to be sharing a bunch of inspiration. That's going to be an awesome one. And I know a lot of you, go figure, but a lot of you have been asking about the diorama. The Hunkydory. That will be an upcoming crafty hour. So please bear with us. We know that some stores have got it. Heck, I know that some stores have been charging for a class on it. That is not what we are going to do. We are going to have it as a crafty hour, and we'll make the cards with you for free. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I am going to grab this paper next. This is our purple paper. Did I do my, no, I never did. My purple paper with our pattern down the side. That is the one that we're going to use next. Okay. And I'm going to turn it upside down. So I want you to take your purple paper and turn it upside down so that your butterflies are standing on their head. They are upside down. Okay, I'm going to turn this over, and we are going to cut this at 5 3/4. Okay, 5 3/4. That is what we're going to do. The card is 6x6. 5 3/4. That will give me all the butterflies, of course. This is a great card base for later. You can use that. We should be able to have some of those, Joyce, after our class. And then, of course, Clipper Street will also get that class discount. Okay, now what I'm going to do is turn it so that the bottom part with all the flowers is on the bottom. And this is important. I don't want you to cut it like this because it won't work. We're going to cut it like this. 5 3/4, and what that's going to do is just cut underneath this big butterfly. Okay, so same measurement because it's a square card. 5 3/4. Save this. We're going to use it. And now I have a piece like that. Make sure it fits before we start putting glue on it, and let's glue that together. Okay. Do that and attach. Courtney and I get how can I say it? Preview, maybe, of all of the Hunkydory stuff. Clipper Street is Hunkydory's largest North American account. So I get to see the stuff months and months and months and months and months before. I have been already looking at stuff that is December and January. So we do order things with all of that into consideration. Okay, we're going to pop this out. Ooh, this one, see, remember when I said sometimes there's some that want to stick just a little bit more. So if that's the case, just grab out your scissors. This is the purple die cut sheet that is called Spread Your Wings. Spread your wings. I'm removing the top one for this card. And I'm going to separate it as well. And again, any spots that are just a little fussy, don't panic. Grab your scissors. It's all good. Okay, I'm just going to tear that little bit. Those things don't bug me. Now, yesterday we launched our new Christmas Hunkydory, our first class. I know Courtney has sold out. I don't know. Clipper Street might be sold out. We might be very, very close. That is called Christmas Cuties. That class is going to be on September 23rd. And then there'll be another Hunkydory class in October, and another one in November, and another one in December. So stay tuned. But when you see them, please hop on them right away. Okay, now I've separated this. I am not going to do this frame, so I'm going to put that off to the side because I can surely use something else for that. Kind of gives us a postage stamp look. And what I'm going to do with my big frame is I am going to attach my vellum to the outside just like that. Okay, so this is going to the back side of my frame. And I'm just going to take a little bit of glue. I don't need a lot, just a dab. So I'm just going to open this ever so slightly and just a little dribble. Don't need a lot. Just don't open it all the way. And then I'm going to attach that. Okay. So we now have that on. And what vellum does is it just kind of gives it that translucency so that it is a little bit opaque, but not super. It's just kind of like you're in a fog, okay? Like kind of how this morning was. Whew, we had a lot of fog this morning, first time. Okay, and then once again, let's put foam tape all the way around the edges. There is different thicknesses of vellum. I'm kind of partial to the thick vellum when I'm doing this. It is like 40 weight. It gives it a little bit more, it's a little bit more opaque. Can't see quite through it. But there is different weights of vellum. There's 29 pound, which of course when you hold them together, it's a little bit more you can see through. People use different weights for obviously different applications. If you ever have done pergami, which is a needlework type paper through vellum, you want the thicker stuff. So there's different reasons. Obviously, the thicker is a little bit more expensive, but it just depends on what you need it for. Okay, so again, I've covered it. I've left little gaps, but nothing too major. And I'm going to attach this right in the center. Now, where you want the corners, because two of them have flowers, two of them don't, that's totally up to you. Doesn't matter in this case. It's your option. Oh, and you know what I'm going to do? If you haven't put it down yet, don't. I am going to put some vellum in, or some foam tape in the middle. So I'm not going to see it. So I'm just going to lift mine up, give it a little bit of stability in there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my insert and I'm just going to do it with one high foam tape in the middle, because that is going to go on top of the vellum, so it'll act as two. And I'm going to put that right on there. Okay. Now, I'm a little worried my scissors might be MIA in here. I think somebody was working at my station and nothing is back where it belongs. Well, we'll use these scissors. Oh, these are awful. Oh, well. Okay, so grab out your good fussy cutting scissors. And with this extra piece of paper, we're just going to fussy cut. Okay, it's got kind of a bumpy-ish edge, and I'm just going to kind of mimic that with these fantastic scissors. I'm just going to fussy. Yeah, it is time to clean my space. But in my defense, the space gets used by a lot of people, so I have a little caddy here with all my tools, and I think every time there's something else in a different place. Now my scrapbook room, that's only for me to blame. I try and clean it, but it's way more fun to play than to clean, right? Okay, so I did a rough little cut of that butterfly. Gonna pop his wings. I'm gonna take a pop dot, and I'm gonna put that pop dot right on top of the body, and then I'm just gonna put that on top as well, and that is just going to give me a little bit of dimension on that card. Now the last thing for this card, I'm going to go to my die cut sheet. Again, I'm going to take Thinking of You. And I'm going to put some foam tape behind it. And you can put that on either corner, whichever corner you want. I think I will put it down here, like so. And then I think I'm going to bring in some of my enamel dots. And let's see. What do I want to do this time? I think I'll take 3 dark purples, and I'm going to put them up here. One there. One there. Might be a little crooked because I don't want to block my head by looking in there. Let's see. Put 3 there, and then I'm going to take 3 of my big ones. I'm going to put 3 down here. My 3 big ones down here. Oops, boy, now I am crooked. And again, remember, you can go back and take your insert paper, put your insert paper inside. Gosh, finish it up, make it look pretty. Oh my gosh, no, I need to do it this way. It'll never be straight. I'm straight challenged today. Okay, that looks pretty. And maybe, just because, I'm going to take small ones of my light purple, and I'm going to put a spattering. Spatter. Just because I can, because I have them. Now you might want to save some because you got Courtney, and I don't know what she's doing with them, so you might want to save them. Those are from Spellbinders. They make all kinds of colors. And the red and green for Christmas, amazing. They have a whole lot. All right, so card 3 done. We've got one more card. I should be able to whip through it. Let's have a peek and see. Again, remember, if you can't keep up, don't panic. You can come back and watch this at any time. Okay, for this card, I wanted to do a A2 size because a lot of people think that Hunkydory has to always be big. It does not. Quite often it is, but it doesn't have to be. So for card number 4, your homework was to find an A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then a gold foil slightly smaller. So I have, this is going to be our card, and I have an A2, and I have a gold that is slightly smaller. Again, we could have used that purple foil that you find in your Hunkydory pack. That would look gorgeous. I'm going to double check, make sure that it fits. Going to glue it on. I always double check, even though I'm the one that cut the paper, because you just never know. Never know. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so this paper is going to be the one we're going to do. This is yellow paper, and down in the bottom left we have the butterfly. In the top right we have a plain corner. These corners kind of mimic each other, except that the butterfly is missing. So I'm not going to waste the butterfly. I'm going to use the plain side. I can use this one for another card down the road. So I'm going to turn it upside down. My butterfly is standing on its head. Okay. And I'm going to take that corner to 4 inches. So when I cut, my butterfly is falling off. 4 inches. Now you see this? I can use this for another card. Really easy. Okay, so 4 inches. Now I want to keep the pattern, so I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to take the bottom where the pattern is to 5 1/4, and what you should be cutting off is just plain yellow. Don't forget, you can also take this paper and you can die cut it. So if you want a fancy edge, if you want maybe a butterfly cut out of this or a flower cut out of this, you can die cut this paper. 5 1/4, so 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, perfection. I'm going to glue it on so that my pattern is in the bottom left corner. Bottom left. Okay. And that's going to give me a little gold all the way around, which is perfect. The olive foil from Hunkydory would also look really nice pulling out that green. Okay, that's it for cutting. So now I'm going to go to these cards, and I'm going to pull out 3 rectangles. I think I'm going to use the butterfly rectangle. You can use any 3 you want. I'm going to use the bird one right underneath it. And then I would choose which one you want. If you want one that says someone very special, you can use that one. I'm going to do the spread your wings and fly. So I have those 3, and I'm also going to do the lots of love. So you can see by looking here, I have enough for another card. I just did 2 cards on this, and I still can make a 3rd. These kits, Hunkydory is so full. I can take this, and I can take this, and I can, look at that. There's a card right there. Like, it's so easy, guys. And you still have all of this, right? It's so easy. Okay. I am going to take these 2, and I am going to foam tape them in the opposite corners. So the bird is going to go in the top right, and my triple butterflies are going to go in the bottom left with some foam tape. Okay, put this here. My borders are going to be kind of even, top and side. And then we need a little bit more. Okay. And same thing. And you can see that they're going to just kind of kiss right in the middle. Now I'm going to take this one, and I am going to off-center it. Oops! What happened? We just lost our lights in the room. Did you do that? Oh, I'm like, am I dreaming? Okay, so this is going to be double. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take foam tape. I'm going to double it. And I am going to tear them in half. I'm going to put it here and here. And I'm going to put single here. So I'm kind of in my head planning where that foam tape needs to go. Sometimes it's easier to put the foam tape right on the card than it is on the back of the die cuts and it not register. So I have double, double, and in the middle, I have single. Okay, that is the right math. They're going to be sitting nice and flat. And then I'm going to kind of go like that. Okay, now as you can see, it's really bottom heavy. So I'm going to take my greeting and I'm going to put one piece of foam tape first all the way across. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more at the beginning. So again, I have 2 and 1. 2 and 1. 2 and 1. You can see it right there. Okay, we're going to put that right about there. Oop, am I crooked? So you can see that again, now it kind of balances the weight. And then all I need to do is add some enamel dots. Like seriously, how easy is that one? Let's do some of the dark purple. I think up here, I'm gonna do some dark purple. Maybe we'll do it like that. And maybe I'll kind of hide that one like that. Okay. And maybe, you know what? I feel like it needs some dark or some enamel dots down here, but that's just me. Okay, so that is 4 cards completed in less than an hour. How fantastic is that? All right, I'm going to bring in all of our cards. And like I mentioned, our Christmas, are we sold out yet, Stacy, for cuties? Almost sold out, Stace says. So don't forget, Courtney is already sold out. In our Christmas cuties class, we are making 14 cards. And when I say that you're going to have a lot extra, you are definitely going to have a lot extra. We are almost sold out. So don't wait. If you like Hunkydory, join us. It is well worth your time. And we do have more cards coming. We have another class coming in October with Hunkydory. Courtney and I just sorted out the dates today. And I will tell you, that's going to go just as fast. So always stay tuned. Now, tomorrow we have a fabulous announcement for our next Crafty Hour. I'm going to tell you this right now. You have not seen this anywhere. We got early access to it. So trust me, nobody else has it yet. And we loaded it with a lot of goodies. So tune in tomorrow and we will fill you in. We'll show you. I'm super excited about it. And then, of course, we have our Halloween. I don't know if Courtney has any Halloween kits left. Stacy, do we have any Halloween kits left?
A few. Yeah.
We might have 1 or 2 left, she says. So if you haven't got into Crafty Hour yet, Joe is going to be teaching that one here at Clipper Street. And Courtney will teach it for Scrapbook and Memories. And as an added bonus, just because, as an added bonus, Diane is also creating a bunch of samples. So, Courtney sold out of the Halloween. So there we go. And yes, my add-ons just showed up at the back door this morning. So I'm going to get on those. So don't wait for that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And remember, Courtney will have her Crafty Hour 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Central time on her Scrapbook and Memories page. She said, no homework, just grab all of your basic supplies. Thanks for joining me this morning and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.